Good morning, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is now 7:15 a.m. and welcome to Activated Morning this morning. You're listening to the voice of Ari, and with me is Roleza. Good morning, Roleza.
Morning, Ari, and how are you?
I'm okay. Just okay.
Yeah,
I wanted to start off this morning.
I'm
Oh,
sleepy, extremely sleepy, and the discussion that we're going to have in this segment will explain why it is I'm sleepy because yeah, I
yeah,
think
and
yesterday we were in the nation was thrown into um a sense of a feeling of sadness, number one, and then
and that's the thing. I
anxiety.
wanted to start positive before we go
Oh,
into
all
that.
right, okay, no problem.
So I just want to say good morning to everybody tuned in this morning, those getting ready for work, those probably already at work, those on their way to work, at school, everyone within the sound of my voice, good morning this morning. First of all, I want to congratulate Bria John. She is the valedictorian of the class of 2023 for University of West Indies Global Campus. Sorry. So congratulations, Bria. It's always good to see when a Vincentian is ahead on these things.
Mhm. Yes, we
And
got bright people,
of course,
Nation of
the
bright
best of the
people.
best, the best of the best of the best of the best of the
Agreed.
best is Vincent Johns.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we don't make the best of the best of the best choices, and that's
Yeah.
reflected in the story. Really, so you take the lead since I know you feel very strongly about
Yeah.
what transpired.
All right. So just a reminder that this is an interactive session, an interactive program. The number to call us and WhatsApp on is 457-9997. We are currently live on Facebook.
And YouTube.
And YouTube, yes. And so in a moment we're going to play an excerpt from a video yesterday. For those of you who may not know, there is a child, a 3-year-old child that died in a house fire yesterday. Um, it was not the best of situations. Hearing the loss of a child or the death of a child is never good news because children are innocent, but there were several things that came out of the story. Now the full story, as far as I know, up to the time of us now commenting on it, has not come out, right? But we're going based off on a video that was shared on excuse me, my apologies, on Asworth News Network yesterday. All right, so for those of you who are close by to a device, a viewing device, phone, tablet, whatever, you can jump on the line on the live for us to discuss this next topic, right? So this is in relation to the child who died.
Before we play the clip for those on
Mhm.
the live, you'll hear a beep in the beginning. It's not an expletive. It is us trying to protect the child's identity,
Mhm.
the name of the child.
All right, and another warning, depending on how you feel about what you're going to hear, it may be a little bit triggering for some of you, so just be mindful of that as well. All right, so that's our disclaimer. So let's go. Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Mami, tell her to copy road, because mommy can take barbecue to her. Mommy, tell her to copy road for her to clean out the thing. So she could take barbecue her because she smoke on the mouth. Me want go home. Something like it wrong home.
You want go up the road, you try again up the road.
Hey, mommy!
So you go and leave him alone down there, boy.
All right, so we are going to run it back one more time. I want to tell you, when I looked at this video, just this part of the video yesterday just sank my whole spirits, right? Because I was upset for so many reasons. But we're going to run it back again one more time. This was somebody who was there recording what happened. So they were walking onto the premises or to the area of where the fire happened. It seems to be one of the brothers of the child who died in the fire. All right, so we're going to run it back just one more time. Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Mommy, tell her
for coffee road, come mommy get take barbecue to her. Mommy tell her for coffee road for help she clean out the thing. So she could take barbecue her because she smoke on the mouth. Me want go home. Something like it wrong home.
Yeah,
Now,
you won't go up the road, it's why I got not the okay.
hey, mommy.
Sorry, I'm going to leave him alone down there, boy.
There are two things that came out of it. Number one, I need to actually say, commend the person who recorded the video in that they did not show the face of the brother, right? The brother of the deceased. They did not show the face of that child. And I am happy that at least a little bit of discretion was shown in that recording so that we do not know, we cannot put a face to the brother of the deceased, right? Now, two of the things that upset me with this particular video, even like, let's start with number one. I was looking at the time of day when this happened, and I was curious. The first thing that came to my mind is how come this little boy wasn't in school, right? That was number one. But I mean, he could be absent from school for various reasons. The other thing is, no, I try to tread very carefully in terms of being critical of parents, of mothers, because I don't know the circumstances, right? So what it is that I'm going to say, it's not necessarily to condemn the mother, but there are times when I wonder, yes, I know that it's difficult. I'm not sure if she is a single parent, right? So as I said, we don't know what the full story is with what happened in this particular situation, but there are times when we find too many instances of children having to watch other children, or children having to be responsible for the care and attention of other children. What I'm getting out of this particular story is that the mother called one of the brothers, the older brother, up to get barbecue and to help with something, to help clean or whatever, right? Be that as it may, there is a younger child who was not accounted for in the presence of the other brother. So even as the mother, I don't know if the mother was distracted, I don't know, right? So as I said, I'm trying to be very careful with not throwing blame here. But the thing of it is that even if the mother would have called one of the children or two of the older children, whatever the story is, you do not see the youngest child with them. Was an inquiry made as to where the youngest child was, right? So that's the other thing. You have children who are watching children. Children should not be responsible for the care and attention of other children. What sunk my heart even further yesterday, and I tell you, it really put me in a mood yesterday afternoon as well, is the comment of the gentleman who was passing by. You are throwing blame onto this child. This child is already in distress. You can hear the pain coming out of that child's voice. You are telling this child that they are responsible. In essence, that's what he's saying, that this child is responsible for the death of his brother. Now, this child, even though they may have already been feeling guilty about what happened, just to hear the words coming out from somebody else, saying this and putting this on them, imagine what this child is going to have to take with him for the rest of his life. No amount of consolation is going to smooth this situation over for this child. And there are times when I think that in society, we are a bit too loose with our mouth. I know that Ari was on a thing of empathy for this week. Don't hold me. It's two different situations here, right? But there is a thing where persons are a bit too loose in voicing their opinions. And when it comes to children in particular, you need to be very careful. That's me trying to calm down. So Ari, over to you. Okay, someone is asking where this happened. I think it happened in Diamond.
Good morning, Joshua. Always tuned in. I always have an issue with children watching children, right? But it's not necessarily children watching children, because there are I would say between 10, 15, 16-year-olds that are quite responsible. But when it comes to children watching infants, that is where I have a major problem, because there's no reason why you should feel comfortable enough leaving your 3-year-old child in the care of another child.
Exactly. Yes.
That that was a recipe for disaster from the beginning. And I know this is not the time to I don't want to say victim blame, but the parent really needs to take responsibility for what has happened. I know there's a grieving process going on, but you have to take responsibility as it relates to the passerby. You know they say when children act like adults, you treat them like adults. I feel like there's a case of that. So
Where the child
maybe
was being what you
no,
mean?
maybe the child that was being spoken to is somebody that always on the street in the village,
Nah,
hanging
but
out in
still,
the
Ari,
village,
time and place and
and
time. That's what
uh
I said. We're a bit too loose with what we say sometimes.
well, you see, for the entire week, I've been saying we need to exercise empathy. We need to understand situation. We don't have to co-sign the situation, but we should understand situation. And this is a situation like that.
Yeah, but this
This
so
guy could
to,
have understood that the children going through something, they're just responsible for a loss of life. That's going to stick with you for the rest of your life. But instead, he went immediately to blame.
and not only just blame the child, what he said, he would have thrown him and the other one into the fire as well. That's what he felt like doing. Now, come on. As a society, this is what you're going to tell a child? A child?
It's a tricky situation because really and truly we can really tell people how to grieve. It's a traumatic experience for everybody involved. And maybe the person wasn't thinking straight when he said it's just
Yeah,
anger and
I
pain.
can understand
But that
you
doesn't make it correct what he said.
right. And I also have to wonder how many incidents like this do we need to have happen here for parents to be a little bit more responsible,
It's not the
right?
first and not the
It's not the
last that a child has been left in a building and or a house or a structure, because some of these houses aren't really houses. You have to say a structure. And the child lose their life. One would think that after years and years, and it looks like a wooden structure from the
yes,
video.
it more than likely was, yes.
One would think that after years and years of people losing their lives in these wooden structures, that, and I know not everybody is educated, but common sense is something you could pick up off the street. Do not leave your child in the care of a child in a wooden home. Come on. You have to know better. You have to do better. You're the adult in the situation. Whether or not you are ready, and I don't know who the parent is. I don't know anything about them. But whether or not you are ready to be a parent, you need to understand that you are the adult in the situation.
And that was one of the other points I was going to make, but based on the next story that we're going to talk about, in that, yes, as you correctly said, Ari, not everybody was necessarily ready to become a parent. Things happen. You brought the child into the world. You have to remember that this is your responsibility, right? Even if you called the other child, the bigger child, a way to come and help you, you are supposed to look around and wonder, where is the youngest child?
Mhm.
The other two or the other one left home, where is the youngest child?
Mhm.
So this is what it is that makes me so upset, because like sometimes it's that there is no class for parents, that there's no manual for being a parent, no manual for being
there
a good
are.
parent.
There are.
Yeah, there are, but different circumstances will come up and so forth. You could only train as so much, or be taught so much theoretically, but when you have
Yeah.
to put it into practice, is a different story.
Well, given that we have 2 minutes to wrap up the other topic that we have to touch on briefly, I just want to say, parents, please be mindful. Please be mindful when dealing with your infant. I know it's frustrating, but even if you have to carry your infant anywhere, everywhere you go, yeah, do that. Or leave them in the care of an adult. Children should not be watching infants. Under no circumstances should children be watching infants. Please be more responsible. Speaking about responsible, there was a search party last night for a missing child. She was 7. She's 7 years old, and thankfully she was found. A search party was led by residents of the Sion Hill area, Miss Sophia Grant, Rodney Small, the director of National Commission of Crime Prevention, and there's someone else who was named Darren Andrews.
Hmm.
See, This is actually one of those stories that actually ended well, thankfully.
And this is why I said that I had a sleepless night. I probably got like 3 hours of sleep because of the fact that I want to think that for Vincent, since you were aware of what was happening, that you were in a state of anxiety because I was anxious. And so it's between sleep and prayer. I'm trying to fall asleep and praying all in one, but the other thing of it is that this child is 7 years old. This child went quote missing because she left brownies with a group of friends. How do you leave a 7-year-old to catch a van, Ari? How? Is it the others? No, don't, no.
No, I'm just about to
7,
say. To be fair, when I was in prep school, I was catching van. I was
at
catching
7.
van, yeah, how old is 7? Grade 3?
I don't know.
I'm not even sure.
But the thing of it for me is that any child under 10, at least try to be a bit more responsible with your children. Yes, you would have left them in quote unquote the care of other friends, but friends are not going to be responsible and accountable for your child's safety.
But I wonder if the child had a cell phone and the cell phone died.
But this is the other things that we have to look at.
But it's a common practice to send your child to a specific and drive and get home safely. So I don't know what happened.
But for me, because
situation.
based on the age, Ari, this is where it is that I'm saying again, parents need to be a bit more responsible. Again, I do not know the circumstances relating to the mother or the parents of this child. But as a society, parents, guardians, you have to be more responsible, more accountable for the care of your children.
Facts.
Luckily that this child was found. I cannot imagine what she went through because of where she was found. She was found in a sort of makeshift shack. She would have been in fear all of that time if it was a case where she was at that location the entire time. Again, we don't know everything, all the full details. But parents, please learn to be a bit more responsible when it comes to the care and attention of your children, knowing where they are.
At all times, please. And the time is now 7:32. Unfortunately, we have to break here. We could continue this discussion in the open forum at 9:20, but for now, we need to break and come back with traffic talk, followed by commentary by Cian Marshall.